Welcome to the Becoming You show with me, your host, Leah Rowling. Do you believe you are capable of choosing your future? Sometimes it takes just one person to believe in you, or you to believe in yourself. If you find yourself continuing to say, someday I will take better care of myself, only to continue living the same day over and over and over again, then you, my friend, are in the right place. I am your biggest cheerleader, inspiring you to become you on purpose and with intention. Are you ready to create a life you love? I'm excited to share with you some big ideas that you can use today to inspire, impact, and influence your life and everyone in it. The Becoming You show starts now. Hello, my friends. How are you? How is May starting for you? We're here in this month already. How will you know if this is going to be an awesome month? I like to ask myself that. How will you know if you are making progress in your life? If we don't monitor it, how can we measure it? I know if you're listening to this, it's because you want options to better your life, to improve it, to design your very best life. And that all starts with assessing where you are. So if you haven't yet, could you take just a few minutes and assess yourself in the key areas of your life? Your physical, your mental, your emotional, your connected, and personal areas of self. These areas of self, if better monitored, if better managed, if better optimized, will impact your life exponentially. They have a ripple effect on all of the other areas of your life. What if you were to commit to just one area this month? How would that affect your life? Could you give yourself a rating like 1 through 5? 1 being not at all, lots of growth for me in this area, or 5 being yes, for sure, I got this. So in these areas, I'm going to ask you a question. And I just want you to assess yourself, not in judgment, but lovingly. Be like, you know what? I'm a 3 here. Or, ooh, I have lots of room for growth. Or, you know what? This is my jam. I crush it in this area. And maybe just choose one. So as it relates to your physical self, could you say, I am living a healthy, vibrant, and energetic life that's fit, and I prioritize my health and my well-being, right? What would you give yourself for that? Let's go to mental self. I consciously create and adhere to thought triggers that keep me intentional in my purpose. I know that if I'm not purposeful in creating these triggers, then my life will be run by subconscious programming based on experiences of my past. If I want to live for my future, these triggers are not optional. So how good are you, 1 to 5, at setting up these triggers for you to live more in alignment with who it is that you want to be? Emotional self. I know how to generate the feelings required in order for me to show up as my best self in every situation. I know that my emotions are not indicators and not dictators. I know that nothing I experience is outside of myself, and therefore every problem is created by me, as is the solution. 1 to 5. Where do you sit there? Your connected self, your relationship with others. I am connected to my inner knowing, my spirit and my faith. I align my beliefs with my actions and use this knowing to make decisions and inform my actions. I consciously carve out time to celebrate the relationships by prioritizing the power of the pause and embracing the magic of stillness and gift of the present moment. Again, where would you rate yourself? 1 to 5 on that area. And lastly, personal self. I am deliberate in how I show up, how I interact with the world, keeping my values and my future and my legacy at the forefront of my choices. I know that my superpower is choice, and how I show up is a choice, and it no doubt has a ripple effect on every single area of my life. I know that because of its importance, I have to set up intentional reminders and triggers and be mindful of the future focus of not only who I am, but who I want to be. You guys, this assessment isn't to pass or fail you. It's simply a self-reflection tool to bring awareness into the areas of self where you may have neglected or ignored you. The idea behind this awareness is identifying where you have growth potential and to explore ways to strengthen your overall being. Intentions, goals, and habits that align with the expansion of each area of self is required in order for you to become, well, your newest you. The question is, are you up to the challenge of becoming? So I have the full assessment in the show notes if you want to download and check in on one of these areas of the self. I offered one in this podcast, but the full assessment has 5 statements of being per area of self. I promise you, if you level up even in just one area, or maybe a couple in a few, you will see real shifts in your life. Okay, so I know I just digressed a ton, but I just know how important this tool is to inform your being. So now back to the podcast. Thanks for allowing my little infomercial there. All right, I debated, you guys, on what to call this podcast. I did. I was thinking about making it be something like the Mother's Day Special Edition, or Championing Motherhood, or Momming Ate Easy. But none of those really embrace the concepts and ideas that I wanted to convey today. So instead, I named it The Hardest Day of the Year. And the reason for that will soon be revealed. First, for all of the moms out there, I hope you take time to spoil and congratulate and acknowledge this most important role that you play in your child's life. I honor and celebrate each and every one of you. If you happen to be listening to this and you are not yet a mother, or you have no intention of being one, you all have a mother, someone who gave birth to you, and in some ways you mother. When I think about what it means to mother, I always come back to love. And maybe it's not for your actual child, but we love. As humans, we love. Maybe it's love for a pet, or love for a niece, or love for a sister or a brother. Maybe it's a neighbor, but I promise you, the mother in you loves. Yes, even if you are a man, the mother in you loves. And I just want to honor the love in each and every single one of you, the mother in you, the daughter in you. And I thank you for being here and wanting to better yourself. And in doing that, we better these roles. The better we become in these roles, the better our world is. So thank you. Mother's Day for so many of us is a beautiful day to reflect and celebrate not only our mothers, but our own mother status. It's an opportunity to reevaluate our relationships and who it is that we're being in them. I also know for many, Mother's Day is challenging. It can be challenging if you are less than impressed with how you were mothered. It can be challenging to celebrate and honor someone that you needed to be better for you. It is hard to find that perfect card that is honest, but not harsh. Hallmark is not making cards that say, Happy Mother's Day. I needed you to be better, but I hope you still have a good day. A client and I were discussing this very thing. For the longest time, Mother's Day was hard, one of the hardest days of the year for her. The obligation to celebrate a woman she struggled to embrace as mom. She also struggled with the guilt of not celebrating her, as that is what good daughters do. And for decades, this tug of war between honoring herself and her truth versus doing what she thought was expected of her, pretending to be the quote unquote good daughter, and resenting both her mom and herself for it. Where's the middle of this tug of war? Where is the peace? The middle is in the letting go of the story you thought your mom should be and choose to be the daughter you want to be. I get it. Seems hard, but both ends of the rope are hard. This pulling from one side to the other is exhausting. Wanting to just celebrate your own family and children and make memories and make traditions, but quickly being pulled to host the entire family, mother included, to clean, to prepare, to cook, to serve. For what? Just so that you can fulfill what a good daughter would do? In the middle, there's no pulling. There's no bitterness. There's no resentment. There's no discouragement or angst. In the middle is you being who you want to be. No apologies, no permission. For others, myself included, Mother's Day is hard when the mother that Hallmark cards actually are written for are no longer there for you to hug. When they're no longer there to kiss their cheek, to hold their hand, to call when things are outstanding and exciting, or to call when they're not. The ones that offer up appreciation and gratitude, the ones that say, thank you for being my rock. Thank you for being there for me and loving me through my mess. Thank you for sharing your wisdom kindly, subtly, as to not suggest that this was the right way and the only way. Thank you for being that source of unconditional love for me. Thank you for showing me genuine care and compassion. Thank you for believing in me when I didn't. Thank you for being the mom that sits in the rain to watch your grandsons play baseball. Thank you for being the mom who helps me with the laundry and the groceries so that I can be with my boys, knowing that that is what I would prefer, but not necessarily what she would. Thank you for showing me what a selfless and serving heart looks like. Thank you for honoring what was without complaint, when complaining would for sure have been warranted. Thank you for being my very best friend, my travel companion, my shopping mate, my doctor, my mentor. This is the Hallmark card that I would need to honor my mother. And I don't think this one exists either. Missing her is a daily occurrence for me, but on Mother's Day, it is especially hard for me. This tug of war between loving and honoring her and being angry that she was taken too soon, wanting to place blame and hurt on anyone, everyone. That's hard too. The war is over when I drop one side of the rope. Can I let go of the story that she should be with me here now and choose to honor and celebrate the mother that she was to so many when she was? I have been able to find that, although in moments it escapes me, not because it was easy, not because it came in the mail or showed up on my doorstep. I was able to find it because I chose to, on purpose, for my mom. And as it turns out, for me to be my best me, not only for me, but for my kids. Thank you, Mom, for continuing to teach and love me so that I can better love. I thought I would take just a little bit of time to reflect on my kiddos before I unpack a couple of strategies, ideas, concepts that we can use to be better moms, for our kids and for ourselves. But I thought I would share a little bit about my kiddos today to honor them, because I believe without them, I would not be the mom that I am. Quite frankly, without them, I wouldn't be the mom that I call myself. What I know for sure is that each of my boys brings out something in me that I was able to bring out in myself. Logan, he's my strong one. He is brave. And although his heart is huge, he doesn't care what you think about him. He doesn't. He believes that what other people think of him is their business, and who he is and what he thinks about himself is his business. This is not a skill that comes easy for me. He's also the most disciplined person I know, and yet makes time for friends and for family and his faith. The balance he strikes is pure brilliance. Levi's my middle. He is kind and he is sensitive and he is loving, and he doesn't take himself too seriously. Everything is playful. He wakes up in the morning delighted. He goes to bed delighted, not because he is fake fine, but because he is unapologetically him. He doesn't look to other people for validation. He doesn't look at others and compare who is doing what or how he's doing better, or who might be doing better than him, and make it mean that he is less than, better than, or not enough. Nope. He is just Levi, and no one does Levi better than Levi. Not taking myself too seriously, bringing the joy to the day, and being okay with me for me, those are skills that have taken me decades to cultivate, and I am still a work in progress. And Max, last but not least. If I only got one word to describe him, it would be spirited. Spirited in what he likes, in what he loves, in what he is interested in what he wants, and in what he doesn't want. He anticipates this life, and whether or not he realizes it at 11, he's figured it out. I often think sometimes he looks at me and my antics and secretly giggles and says to himself, she'll figure it out one day, maybe. He's steady. He is solid, and he serves. He does it his way. Another skill that I am looking to develop better. This whole notion of serving my way instead of people pleasing everybody else's way. To say that I'm a proud mama of 3 amazing boys is incredibly understated. I love watching them grow up. I love having the first row in the movie that is their life. I look to them to inform more of who I want to be in mine. I know as their mom, I'm supposed to be the one that teaches them along the way, but I'm not so sure that they weren't put in my life to teach me. Teach me that what other people think of me is their business, and who I am and what I think of me is my business. To teach me to not take myself too seriously, to bring the joy to each and every day, and to be okay with me for me, and serve my way instead of people pleasing everybody else's way. What have your kids taught you? Maybe you take a minute to reflect and journal on that today. Now, I can honestly say I didn't always see them as they are. So I'm going to give you 2 tools today that I learned about parenting that have been so huge for me. Tools that no doubt have changed my relationship with my boys and have allowed me to be a better mom to them. First is just an awareness of our stories. We all have them about everything: our money, our time, how our life should be. We even have them about how we thought we would be as moms and how our children would be. I had stories that when I had a daughter, we would have the kind of relationship that my mom and I had. We would go and get our nails done and go shopping and eat Chinese and contemplate our fortunes by way of our cookie. And then I found out I was having a boy. I thought about what that was going to be like and who I was going to be as a boy mom. I thought we would run together and work out together. And I thought we would watch movies and ride bikes and take walks. And these stories are great. And I love dreaming about who they are and who they might become. But when reality doesn't match the story we had, we use it to suggest that something has gone wrong and we create unnecessary suffering. I had a client that had amazing friendships in high school and was always busy and out of the house doing stuff. And she finds herself frustrated because her children prefer to stay home rather than be out of the house and busy with friends. And she is creating problems for herself because she is judging her children for not being more like her. And when we realize our stories are just that, stories, they're not reality nor facts, we can allow our kids to determine what is fun for them, not what we think would be fun for them. And we create all sorts of unnecessary pain for ourselves with these stories about how they're supposed to hang out with friends or go to church or play sports or be artsy. We have stories around the holidays and what they should look like, how tuck-ins should go, how birthday parties should go, how dinner time looks like. And what happens is we get so consumed with the story in our mind about how this should look that we miss how it actually is. We miss it. And what if what is actually happening is so much better than the story we made up in our mind? And I promise you it is, because it is the one that is actually happening. It's not that reality isn't matching the story that's the problem. It's not that your kids need to be different. That's the problem. The problem is our attachment to the story that we think is true. And the remedy is just an awareness that it is just a story and that we could be wrong about it. So when you think about your kids and your role as a mom, is the story that you think about making you more of the mom that you want to be? Is it allowing you to connect and love and celebrate your children for who they are? Or is it making you frustrated and resentful and angry about who you think they should be? So that's the first thing that I wanted to teach you. The second thing I want to teach you is about our expectations. And it kind of goes along with the stories, but we have expectations because of our stories. And so I want to give you a couple of tools to navigate your expectations so that you can be the mom that you want to be. So my oldest son, as you know, I just mentioned, he's very strong-minded. Now, for a good majority of his life, his strong mind and mine butted. I thought it would be better if he was more like me, more pleasing, less quote unquote difficult, less challenging. I thought it would be better if he didn't challenge me and or push my buttons. And PS, we don't have buttons. I thought he would be a better son if he didn't butt up against every single boundary I had. And when we have these expectations of people, anyone, including our children, we suffer. We suffer in ruminating on how much better our life would be and theirs if they were more in line with our expectations for them. We look for proof. It's called confirmation bias, that indeed he is that way. And for sure, he shouldn't be. I mean, I think at one point in time, our entire family would have said he is challenging. And what I learned, and I'm going to share with you right now, is life-changing. One, just because everyone thinks it's true doesn't mean that it is. It just means that we have more proof. I can't take my kid into the doctor and see if he tests positive for being challenging. You guys, that's just a thought. And second, is this an expectation that I'm willing to be wrong about? Why shouldn't he be strong-willed? Why shouldn't he question the rules of the game? Why wouldn't I want him to be that way? Because I didn't? I was the yes girl. I didn't challenge authority. I didn't push the limits. I did what I was told. I never questioned. I never challenged. Why did I need him to be different? The answer to this is also life-changing. The reason I needed him to be different is so that I could feel better. It wouldn't make his life better or easier. It would make mine. So my work is to feel better without dumping my emotional expectations on the shoulder of a child trying to navigate his own life, his own emotions. And when I stopped seeing him as challenging and instead honored that in him, our relationship flourished. When I stopped looking for evidence that he was challenging, I actually found evidence to the contrary, that he was so incredibly sensitive and kind. Where in your life do you have expectations for your kids or really any other human or experience that creates frustration and angst and annoyance? Can you first allow yourself to be wrong about your expectations? Why do we want to be right about something that feels so painful and disconnects us from the people that we love? Now, I'm not suggesting not making requests and having accountability measures, positive rewards and empowered consequences, a podcast for another day. I'm talking about those expectations that you have that are limiting you from being your best and connecting with those that you love lovingly. It requires some honest reflection. It does. Why do I need this person to be more like this? Our brain will answer with something like this. It will be better for them. They will be happier. I just don't want them to get hurt. I don't want them to struggle. I know what is best. I made that mistake and I don't want them to. And I'm going to offer you all some tough love. The reason we think that, if we keep asking and peeling the onion, the reason we think that is so that we feel better. Why don't we want them to make mistakes, to struggle, to get hurt? It is a part of life, part of this amazing part of the journey, so that they can grow and learn and cultivate resilience and fortitude. I like to watch my kids like I'm watching a movie, and I get a front row seat to watch them live into the best of who it is that they are. That is going to require some struggle for them. That is going to require some uncomfortability. That is going to require some disappointment. That is going to require some heartache. And that is going to require mistakes, lots of them. Most of all, my friends, it is going to require you to manage your emotions around their journey. It's going to require some self-control on allowing them to feel their feelings, instead of what we want to do is to protect, control, and manipulate the outcome in an attempt to make them feel better so that we can feel better. When we can support them without being attached so tightly to their results that are just that, their results, we can love and honor and encourage and cheer and hold space for their journey instead of forcing ours on to them. I hope for you, Mother's Day is an amazing tribute to what sometimes feels like a thankless job. For those of you that struggle with this day for whatever reason, I hope finding the middle allows you to honor what is, to celebrate what was, and live into the truth of who you want to be. It's always available. If you like this episode, will you do me a favor? Would you share it with some of your favorite people, maybe some of your very favorite moms today, and ask them to do the same? This movement requires our movement. This movement to become more by being more. I truly believe that together, you and me, we can become more and inspire others to do the same. We can change the world one mindset at a time, starting with ourselves. If you have any questions with anything that you have learned here, or want help with something going on in your life, just pop on a free coaching call with me. I will teach you some real tools for whatever unique situation you're dealing with. Just head over to my website or book a call, www.leahrolling.com. Or you can check out the show notes to book a strategy call with me, or download that Becoming assessment tool. Thanks for being with me. Have an amazing weekend, everyone. Happy Mother's Day to all of you out there, and I will see you at the same time next Friday. See you soon.
You have been listening to the Becoming You show with me, your host, Leah Rolling, where I share big ideas to inspire, impact, and influence your life. Tune in every Friday at 11 Central on transformationtalkradio.com for your morning cup of coffee, the hug you never want to end, and that inspirational message that you felt was written just for you. Each show is inspiring you to become you with purpose and intention. For more information or to connect with me, visit www.leahrolling.com.